Hi, fifth graders, it's Miss Rayborn here. So today we get to start talking about color. Miss Rayborn is using a box of 12 colored pencils. You may have more colors than that at home. It's totally up to you and what you have around, but I'm gonna use the 12 just because I think most of us will have at least that. So feel free to use others if that's what you've got. Any kind of colored pencils will work. So in our sketchbook, we're gonna do a little activity. Some of you might be using your sketchbook to draw in, that's fine. This little handout, in case you don't wanna draw the grids and things, is linked right here next to the video if you want to open it and print one out. But I also know that not everybody has access to a printer if you're at home. So you could easily just draw out your value scales like we did the time before, where you used your ruler to make a row and made your spaces. You're gonna need 3 spaces for today's activity. So the first thing we're gonna try is just a smooth shading with a colored pencil. So I'm gonna pick a color where I'm really gonna notice a difference. For example, I think I'm gonna pick this. This is just regular old blue. It almost looks purplish here, but it is actually a blue. So just like we would have before, we're gonna skip the first scale. This one kind of goes this direction, so maybe actually I'll work this way because this is my gray value scale. So the first time, I'm just gonna try to be as light as I possibly can be. I'm just sort of barely getting that colored pencil across the page. It's sort of just skimming the top of the page. I'm not pushing at all with this finger here. I'm just being as light as I possibly can be. Okay, I probably even could have gotten a little lighter, but you try it out. Next, I'm gonna give it slightly more. Now, I'm not super worried about shading this box in like perfectly. There's little places here where it's not getting totally evenly shaded. That's fine. What I'm more interested in is the color even here, okay? So I've got the lightest, super light here, a little bit of pressure here. Then, just like we learned when we were drawing with our 2B pencil, we're gonna press just a little bit harder as we go. I'm working with just one pencil, so a little bit harder as I go. Then I'm gonna go over to the next one. I'm gonna try to press just a little bit harder. As you're practicing this, you might notice that it's a little bit difficult to notice the difference between the lightness here as you go harder and harder. It's a little easier to shade darker because we're kind of used to pressing down, if that makes sense. If you notice that these two are too close, you could always go back over it again in the other direction. Okay, so I'm getting a difference. This time, I'm really pushing down pretty hard. Okay, I don't want to break my colored pencil for sure, but I've definitely giving it some pressure. Okay, by the time I make it all the way over to the last one, I'm pushing as hard as I can without worrying that I'm gonna break my colored pencil, okay? The other thing that I absolutely can do is go back over the top, okay? Now you'll notice that as you're pushing really much harder with your pencil here, that your color might even start to look a little bit shiny because you're pushing so hard, and there is wax inside of here, just like a crayon. There is wax binding together the color, okay? So for the first one, I just want you to try out some smooth shading, and this one is just all about, and you can make yourself a note if you want, it's all about pressure, okay? I think I just spelled pressure wrong. Teachers make mistakes too, okay? So try some smooth shading in the first row, whether you drew it in your sketchbook or whether you decided to do it on this page, okay? Next, let's talk about doing some value shading with line. So for example, if I chose hatching or cross hatching. So just like the last time, we're leaving this first space empty, right? Now, if I'm creating with cross hatching or hatching, the first one is gonna be pretty far between, right? Then the next time, I'm gonna get a little closer together. I might even press a little bit harder with my pencil. This might have been a little bit too much. We'll find out here. I think I might have overdone that from here to here. Look, that's a big difference, isn't it? So this next one, I'm gonna go closer and closer, a little bit closer as I get together. Hopefully with my eye, that's looking a little bit darker than this one. Then I'm getting closer and closer and closer together. Some people even like to make the thickness of this line thicker, if they can, by pushing a little harder, the value of the color a little bit more, okay? And then by the time I'm getting over to here, I may be having some overlapping happening even in certain places. So by the time I get to here, so if I notice that I'm missing certain places, I can go back with my lines. It's starting to get darker and darker. By the time I get to here, there's probably, we said the last time around, when you get to this stage, what you might notice actually is sort of the white, that the white is more noticeable. It's like the white is popping out because it's where you haven't added color. I'm kind of turning my pencil if I need to. And then this last one, they're probably going to be like just overlapping each other, but you can still see little baby places where the white is showing through. Now, of course, you could do this with hatching. You could do this with cross hatching. You could do this with stippling, which is dots. The one thing I would recommend if you choose stippling is not to do this with your colored pencil. It will break on the inside. And then what will happen is you'll sharpen your colored pencil and a little piece will break off. And then you'll sharpen it again and another little piece will break off. That's because the lead on the inside is broken. This lead is very fragile, so please be careful with it, okay? So the second one down, I want you to try some kind of a value blend with line. Okay, so pick one color. It could be stippling, it could be hatching, it could be cross hatching, it could be scumbling, which we learned are those fun scribbly kinds of lines, up to you. For the last one, I want us to try blending one color into another. That's gonna be tricky. These are a little too close, I think. I think I'm gonna go here to here. All right, now, the way I'm going to do this is that I am going to layer on top. So I'm gonna start way over here and I'm gonna make sure that I'm really over here. I'm really filling this yellow all the way in. I'm filling this spot, okay? Nice and firm pressure, okay? It's sort of like I'm going backwards. Next one, a little lighter. I'm just trying to work on getting that to that spot like that. Little lighter. The next one, a little lighter than that. Okay, and then the next one, a little lighter, maybe just a little bit. And then I might even go just super light. You might not even be able to see how light that is. Okay, so that's where I'm starting from this side. Then I'm gonna put this guy off to the side and I'm gonna go over here to the other one. And I'm gonna start, I'm at an end, so this is as dark as my orange is gonna get. And I notice sometimes that it really helps me to turn my paper. Have you guys ever noticed that? So sometimes I give my paper a little turn as I'm shading. I'm getting a little bit lighter because I've moved into a new box, right? A little lighter than this one. A little lighter as I'm moving into this one. Hopefully I'm not seeing any big differences. And then super light over the top here. And even lighter over the top here. Okay, now at this moment in time, I still kind of look like I have a really orange, a really yellow. And then I'm kind of working my way that direction. So I may need to go back and discover, did I need to darken certain places with my orange so that those transitions aren't as, they're a little more gradual, we could say. So I'm working my way this direction. Then I'm going to make sure, super light, barely doing it at all, Then I'm gonna go back to my very first guy and I'm gonna do the same thing coming back the other direction. For your enrichment video this week, there are some tips and tricks for blending colors, okay? So I put them in. Remember, enrichment videos you do not have to do. So I'm blending backwards and I'm getting some yellow even way over into here so that I can make that transition a little bit more as I go, okay? There are, in the enrichment video, more examples of how you can blend your colors together. And remember, that's totally your choice. So this week's assignment is 3 value scales. 1 smooth, which is all about pressure. 1 with some kind of line value. Hatching, cross-hatching, stippling, scumbling. You can make up your own patterns. And then the last one is blend 1 color into another. I'm noticing I'm still feeling like this is a little bit too tough of a transition. So I'm still kind of working this over to here as I go. I also feel like I wish I had a darker yellow. That would be awesome because I can't seem to get this yellow any darker. I happen to have a crayon next to me. I wonder if that will help me, just because that's what I have. Let's see, did that make a difference? Not really even, okay? So this is our sketchbook assignment for this week, and we're not turning in anything this week. However, if you did not turn in your progress on your grayscale value drawing next week, you need to go and take care of that. I left the assignment up, and there was a little reminder video at the very beginning telling you how to turn in. So if you haven't done that yet, please take care of that right away. Last week's assignment, but nothing to turn in this week. I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, there's more in the enrichment on blending colors if you're ready for it. Bye for now.